Have you ever woken up to a quiet morning, your heart racing for no clear reason? A strange energy stirs in your chest, as if something brushed gently against your soul. You look up the sky, it seems bluer than ever. You step outside, and every sound, every glimmer of light feels like it's echoing from another dimension. No one says anything to you, nothing dramatic has happened. But you know, something is beginning. You are awakening, not in the usual sense, but from within. From the place where your soul stirs and begins to rise. In today's video, we'll explore a mysterious yet very real phenomenon unfolding in the hearts of millions around the world. The awakening of Kundalini, a sacred energy that lies dormant deep within you, now beginning to rise. We'll begin with the subtle early signs that your soul is beginning to awaken. True stories of ordinary people who have touched the extraordinary. And vital warnings to help you stay grounded on this deeply spiritual journey. This isn't just a video you watch and forget, it's a doorway for those who are truly ready. So, if you've ever felt like you don't quite belong in this world, if you've dreamed dreams you can't explain, if you've longed to remember something you can't quite name, then maybe, just maybe, this is the moment your soul has chosen to come home. Join me. Let's move slowly, deeply, and explore. Has the sacred serpent within you begun to stir? Your journey begins now. What is stirring inside you? The early signs of a soul awakening. Some things happen so quietly, and yet they have the power to change your entire life. I once spoke with a woman from Arizona. She was a nurse. Stable career, happy family, nothing out of the ordinary. Until one night, she dreamed she was standing in the heart of a volcano. A brilliant white light rose from deep within the earth. But she wasn't afraid. In fact, she felt a profound sense of peace she had never known. When she woke up, everything seemed the same. But inside, something had shifted. The subtle signs your soul is stirring. When a soul begins to awaken, it doesn't scream, it whispers. In ways that logic cannot explain. You feel alone, even in a crowd. Not because you lack company, but because no one seems to touch the depth inside you anymore. Your dreams become vivid, layered, and you begin to remember images that don't belong to this life. You find yourself drawn to spirituality, meditation, light, and energy, even though none of it ever interested you before. Sometimes you cry for no reason, a sorrow that feels both unfamiliar and deeply known. What's happening to you energetically? This is the first phase of awakening, the inner light beginning to illuminate the parts of you you've long forgotten. It's not because you were lost. It's because your soul has chosen this moment to return to itself. In energy science, they call it the calling, a pull from the deepest layer of your being. In spiritual language, it's known as the activation of your intuition. Call it what you will, the truth remains. Something is waking up within you, and it's stronger than you think. Not everyone hears this call. Even fewer have the courage to listen. Instead of brushing it off as nonsense, imagination, or I'm just too busy. But if you're watching this video, if something I've said is stirring something deep in you, maybe you're no longer just an ordinary person. Maybe you're becoming someone who's ready to remember who they truly are. And if something has begun to rise within you, then maybe it's time you found out what it truly is. In the next part, we'll begin to decode an ancient, mysterious, yet very real energy. One that's gently rising from the base of your spine, like a sacred serpent, awakening the entirety of your soul. 2. Kundalini energy explained, ancient symbol, modern awakening. Have you ever felt a mysterious surge of energy rise along your spine, like a subtle current of electricity, vibrating through your body? Not painful, not frightening, just real, and deeply real. Kundalini, this word may sound foreign, but its roots stretch back thousands of years into ancient civilizations. In ancient Indian philosophy, it is believed that inside every human being lies a sacred serpent, coiled at the base of the spine. It's not a literal snake, but a symbol of life energy, creative power, inner wisdom, and awakening. That serpent is Kundalini. A simple explanation of Kundalini. Kundalini is a dormant spiritual energy located at the base of the spine, in the sacrum area. It is considered the root of all vitality and inner power. When it is awakened, this energy begins to rise upward, moving through the body's central energy channel. passing through 7 chakras and unlocking different levels of consciousness, from basic survival instincts to cosmic intelligence. It's like slowly turning on the lights in a dark room. Each chakra that opens reveals a doorway, leading you closer to your truest, most authentic self. The snake symbol, across cultures, a red thread of human wisdom. The symbol of the serpent is not exclusive to Hinduism. It appears across cultures and religions around the world as a representation of transformation, healing, and primal power. In ancient Egypt, the Uraeus serpent worn on the pharaoh's crown symbolized divine protection and awakened power. In Christianity, the snake holds dual meanings: temptation in the Garden of Eden, but also rebirth through the shedding of its skin. In Western medicine, the caduceus, a staff with 2 serpents coiled around it, remains a symbol of healing and life. Perhaps humanity has never truly forgotten this truth. We've simply stopped listening to the serpent within. A real-life example: when Kundalini awakens in an ordinary person. Alex, a fitness coach from California, shared this. He began feeling like his life no longer fit him, even though nothing was really wrong. He turned down sponsorships, paused his work, and just meditated. During a deep meditation, he felt heat rising along his spine. His hands trembled slightly, and space seemed to expand, as if his body had no boundaries. After that experience, Alex began researching Kundalini and realized he was entering a spiritual awakening he had never planned for. You don't need to be a yoga master or live in a cave in the Himalayas for Kundalini to rise. All you need is to be quiet enough to listen, because that energy has always been there. Like a sleeping serpent beneath a tree, not gone, just waiting to be called by name. And when that serpent begins to stir, the real journey is only just beginning. In the next part, we'll explore what really happens when Kundalini rises through the chakras and how it begins unlocking the deepest layers of your consciousness. 3. The journey of the serpent, how Kundalini rises through the chakras. Imagine your body as an ancient instrument. Each chakra is a key, and Kundalini is the musician gently awakening sounds that have long been sleeping within you. When Kundalini begins to rise, it doesn't surge like a storm. It moves slowly, with reverence, following a central energy channel called Sushumna, from the base of your spine all the way to the crown of your head. Along this sacred path, Kundalini touches each chakra, like light shining through a prism, unfolding layers of awareness you've never experienced before. The 7 chakras, 7 gateways of consciousness. The journey of Kundalini through the chakras can be seen as a spiritual ascent, a soul's climb toward higher consciousness. 1. Muladhara, the root chakra. You begin to feel grounded, safe. But here, Kundalini awakens your deepest fear, the fear of existence itself. This phase can feel unsettling, disorienting. But in truth, the foundation of your being is being rebuilt. 2. Svadhisthana, the sacral chakra. Suddenly you feel drawn to create, to paint, sing, write, or maybe you just cry a lot, and that's okay. 3. Manipura, the solar plexus chakra. You start setting boundaries in relationships. You claim your inner power. 4. Anahata, the heart chakra. Even if you've been hurt before, you begin to feel the urge to forgive. Not for others, but because your heart feels lighter when you do. 5. Vishuddha, the throat chakra. You stop hiding how you feel. You no longer shape yourself to please others. You live truthfully. 6. Ajna, the third eye chakra. You begin to know things before they happen, not because you guessed, but because you felt them. 7. Sahasrara, the crown chakra. There's only silence now. A deep, expansive stillness, a feeling of melting into the cosmos. This isn't the end, it's the beginning of an entirely new way of being. A real example, when a chakra opens unexpectedly. A friend of mine, once a university lecturer in Texas, told me, I was in class, giving a lecture like always. Suddenly I couldn't speak. My heart started racing, my eyes welled up, and I just wanted to leave the room. There was no clear reason, but I knew something inside me was opening. She took a few weeks off. When she returned, she wasn't just a teacher. She became a mindfulness mentor for her entire school. As it turned out, that was the day her heart chakra awakened. Kundalini doesn't follow the logic we're used to. It's not like unlocking levels in a video game. It's more like a homecoming. Raw, chaotic, surprising, and profoundly beautiful. You don't need to control the journey. You just need to be present, to listen, to feel, and to trust. But the path isn't always smooth. If Kundalini is awakened improperly, or if the body and mind are not prepared, this energy can become a fire, one that burns through your inner system, causing more harm than healing. In the next part, we'll explore a lesser-known truth. What happens when awakening goes off course, and the hidden dangers of awakening Kundalini too soon. 4. Awakening gone wrong, the dangers of unprepared Kundalini. Awakening, it sounds like something magical, but did you know that even light can harm you if you stare into it too suddenly? On the spiritual path, the rising of Kundalini is often described as a sacred fire. But if your body and mind aren't prepared, that fire can burn through your inner balance instead of illuminating it. This part of our journey isn't meant to scare you. It's here to help you understand, so you can walk this path consciously. Why can Kundalini cause disturbance when awakened improperly? When Kundalini energy rises, it directly affects the nervous system, endocrine glands, and deep emotional centers. If the energy is too intense, and your inner channels aren't open wide enough to contain it, chaos can unfold. Some common signs of a disruptive awakening include prolonged insomnia, nervous agitation doctors can't explain, intense anxiety, sudden depression, or falling into a state of false spirituality, seeing visions, hearing sounds, sensing things without control, feeling disconnected from reality, as though you're living between two worlds. Jamie's story. Jamie, a content creator from Seattle, shared her chaotic awakening experience. I joined an online Kundalini yoga class. After just a few sessions, I felt heat surge through my body and vivid dreams started flooding in. But then, things spiraled. I couldn't sleep for 14 nights straight. My mind didn't feel like mine anymore. Everything became too much. She had to stop everything. Eventually, she found a true meditation teacher who helped her start again with nothing but deep breathing and slow walks in the park. Kundalini isn't something you flip on like a switch. It is a sacred life force, and it only rises when you are ready, body, mind, and soul. Don't rush it. Don't chase the mysticism. Start with the simplest things. A deep night's sleep, a nourishing meal, the sound of birds in the morning. Because true awakening doesn't leave you scattered, it feels still and deeply present. And if something is gently shifting inside you, naturally, without force, then maybe, just maybe, you're in the right place at the right time to walk this path in peace. In the next part, we'll explore a deeply inspiring story. One that proves Kundalini can unlock not just power, but timeless wisdom. The true story of Gopi Krishna, a man who survived the fire of spiritual awakening and brought light to millions. 5. The Gopi Krishna case, a true story of spiritual fire and struggle. Some souls don't choose the easy path. They walk straight into the fire and emerge as light, guiding the way for others. If you've ever felt that the awakening journey sounds vague or unreachable, the story of Gopi Krishna, a very real man with a very real life, might help you see something clearly. Kundalini is not a myth, it's an experience, and sometimes it's the greatest challenge a soul will ever face. Who was Gopi Krishna? He wasn't a monk, he wasn't a guru. He was an ordinary civil servant in 20th century India, living simply, working steadily, a husband, a father. But one morning, during meditation, something extraordinary happened. I felt a blaze of white fire rising from my spine, shooting into my head like an explosion of light. And from that moment on, I was no longer the same person. Gopi Krishna's awakening experience. It may sound glorious, but in truth, it was a painful, disorienting journey that lasted for years. He suffered intense migraines that no doctor could explain. He couldn't sleep. He experienced panic, a sense of floating outside his body, as though he were living in two realities at once. Streams of knowledge began pouring into his mind about the universe, the soul, and life beyond death. No one understood him. No one could help. For over 12 years, Gopi Krishna struggled alone with Kundalini. What changed? He didn't give up. Instead of resisting the energy, he learned to befriend it. He meditated more gently, he breathed more softly, he ate clean, rested more, and simplified his life. And slowly, the chaos began to settle. A new dawn emerged, and with it, a new Gopi Krishna. He began writing, teaching, and sharing his story with honesty, humility, and deep inspiration. His most well-known book, Kundalini, The Evolutionary Energy in Man, has inspired thousands around the world. Gopi Krishna wasn't chosen because he was perfect. He was chosen because he was willing to walk into the fire and stay with it until it became light. The journey of awakening is not about reaching some higher state. It's about learning how to stand still while everything inside you transforms. So if you're feeling lost, exhausted, or unsure whether you're on the right path, remember this: awakening isn't always comfortable, but it is always right for your soul. And just like Gopi Krishna, you too might be walking this very path without even realizing it. But how can you be sure that you're truly being awakened? There are signs, clear signs, if you're quiet enough to see them. In the next part, we'll explore 7 unmistakable signs that Kundalini may be awakening within you. 6. Signs you might be one of the chosen. There are moments in life when you don't need anyone to tell you anything. You simply feel it deep within, as if you're being called. No invitation arrives in the mail. No heavenly trumpet sounds. No spotlight from the sky. Spiritual awakening, or the rise of Kundalini, doesn't come with fireworks. It comes as a whisper. But if you listen deeply enough, if you pay close enough attention, you'll notice the universe is always sending signals. 7 signs you might be in the midst of an awakening. 1. You feel like you're drifting out of your old life. Things that once excited you now feel flat. Old conversations, habits, even relationships start to feel misaligned. It's not because you're becoming weird, it's because you're growing spiritually. 2. You have vivid, recurring dreams. Dreams of light, symbols, snakes, water, fire, or of places you've never been, yet feel strangely familiar. 3. You experience déjà vu you can't explain. You enter a space for the first time, but it feels like home. You hear a song you've never heard before, yet it moves you to tears. You look into someone's eyes and it's like you've known them in another life. 4. You've become more sensitive to energy. Crowded spaces drain you. You can feel people's emotions, sometimes before they even speak. It's not weakness, it's your energetic system awakening. 5. You start asking big existential questions. Who am I really? Why am I here? These questions used to feel abstract. Now they burn inside you, because your soul is waking up and wants to remember. 6. You feel like something wants to be born from within you. It's not just passion. It feels like a mission, a calling, as if you came here to do something important. 7. You're no longer afraid of being alone, because in the quiet, you're beginning to hear your own voice again. And you realize, loneliness isn't the absence of others. It's the full presence of yourself. Not everyone realizes they're being awakened, and not everyone who awakens has the courage to walk the path. But if these signs feel familiar, if your heart says, I think I'm ready, then maybe you no longer need permission. Your soul has already chosen. All that's left is for you to take the next step. But just like any sacred journey, the Kundalini path comes with twists, illusions, and very real missteps. In the next part, we'll explore the most common mistakes people make during spiritual awakening, and how you can avoid them to keep your journey safe, grounded, and whole. 7. Most common mistakes in Kundalini practice and how to avoid them. Awakening is a gift, but if you don't know how to hold it, that gift can feel like a burden. Many people, after experiencing the first signs of Kundalini, become impatient, eager to rush ahead. They seek out stronger techniques, intense meditations, mystical rituals, hoping to force open the doors of awakening. But the truth is, Kundalini doesn't need to be forced. It needs to be listened to. The most common mistakes and how to avoid them. 1. Forcing an awakening through intense techniques. Many people try aggressive breathwork, extreme body movements, or deep sound activations without proper guidance. The result: insomnia, anxiety, hallucinations, nervous system dysregulation. How to avoid it? Begin with stillness, slow breath, gentle yoga. If you're new, don't chase the explosion. Seek balance instead. 2. Mistaking a strange experience for enlightenment. Some people feel a powerful energy rush, have vivid dreams or sudden intuition, and assume they've become enlightened. In reality, these are often just early phases and can lead to spiritual delusion. How to avoid it? Stay humble and aware. Ask yourself, is this making me more loving, more present, or just making me feel special? 3. Withdrawing from reality. Some believe awakening means leaving the world, quitting jobs, avoiding people, living in isolation. But Kundalini doesn't come to help you escape. It comes to help you come home to yourself, right here, in daily life. How to avoid it? Keep a normal rhythm. Eat, sleep, work, connect. Don't cut yourself off from the world, because this world is your spiritual training ground. 4. Neglecting the physical body. New seekers often forget the body. Irregular meals, late nights, no movement. But remember, your body is the temple of Kundalini. How to avoid it? Nourish yourself well. Hydrate, get restful sleep, move gently. A healthy body is the foundation for a soaring soul. A real-life example, Elijah's story. Elijah, a college student from Oregon, shared, "I started doing intense breathwork from a video online. After a few weeks, I couldn't sleep. My neck hurt constantly, and I felt this strange heat rising. But it got stuck." He stopped everything, returned to simple meditation, light breathing, and in time, peace returned. You can't force a lotus to bloom before its season, and you can't force Kundalini to rise with impatience. Instead of asking, "How can I awaken faster?" ask yourself, "How can I become still enough, steady enough to receive whatever is meant for me?" And if you are now, or soon will be, stepping deeply into this sacred path, then let me walk with you. Because in the next part, we'll explore how to truly prepare body, mind, and energy, so your Kundalini journey can be safe, sustainable, and full of love. Coming up next, the essential preparations for a grounded, graceful awakening, not driven by urgency, but guided by reverence. 8. How to prepare yourself for a safe and graceful awakening. Spiritual awakening is not about climbing a mountain, it's about returning home to yourself, gently, steadily, and with deep love. Kundalini doesn't seek out the strongest, the smartest, or the most spiritual. It comes to those who are willing to dissolve and be reborn. And just like a seed needs healthy soil, sunlight, and time to bloom, you too need to prepare a fertile inner space to receive this sacred rising. 3 key aspects to prepare for the awakening journey. 1. The body, the physical temple for energy. Kundalini may be spiritual, but it still flows through your nervous system, endocrine glands, blood vessels, and spine. If your body is exhausted, tense, or malnourished, that energy can become stuck, leading to physical or emotional imbalance. You can prepare by eating natural, minimally processed foods regularly, drinking plenty of clean water, taking daily gentle walks, sleeping at consistent hours, avoid staying up late, reducing caffeine and stimulants. A healthy body isn't just about being alert, it's the vessel that carries light. 2. The mind, a space for stillness. You don't have to empty your mind like a monk, you just need to create quiet moments to clear the mental clutter. Simple practices include meditate 5 to 10 minutes each morning, keep a soul journal, write down your emotions or insights, limit mindless scrolling on social media, read spiritual books instead of consuming negative news. When your mind becomes less noisy, you'll start to hear your own voice again. 3. Energy, subtle protection and cleansing. Everyone has an energy field, and it's affected daily by environments, people, media, and even your thoughts. You can protect and purify your energy by spending time in nature, trees, water, natural light, taking alone time weekly to recharge, lighting candles, burning incense, or listening to healing sounds like 432 Hz, river flows, or singing bowls. Surrounding yourself with positive, honest people. You can't control everything around you, but you can choose what's allowed to touch your energy. Maria's story. Maria, a mother of 3 from Spain, once thought the spiritual path was too far out of reach, but when she began meditating 10 minutes each morning, writing 1 line of gratitude each night, and turning off her phone after 9 p.m., she discovered something. I wasn't seeking Kundalini, but somehow it found me, in the gentlest, most genuine way. You don't need to become a perfect version of yourself to welcome awakening. You simply need to become honest, present, kind to yourself. And when Kundalini comes knocking, you'll smile, open your heart, and say, "I'm ready," in my own way. But why now? Why is your soul out of millions awakening in this moment? Maybe because you didn't come here just to exist. You came here to be a light in this time of great transformation. In the next part, we'll dive deeper into this question. Why are you awakening now? And what is your soul's true mission in this lifetime? 9. Kundalini and mission. Why you're awakening now. You didn't stumble upon this path by accident, and your soul didn't awaken at this moment by chance. As the world spirals through chaos, wars, crises, confusion, a wave of souls is beginning to rise, not to escape, but to illuminate. Kundalini doesn't just awaken energy, it awakens purpose. Why are you awakening now? When Kundalini stirs within you, it's not just a sign of personal growth. It's the universe whispering, you are ready to play a bigger role. Maybe you are the healer in your family, the one who breaks generations of pain. Maybe you're here to inspire, to write, create, share light and wisdom with others. Maybe your mission is simply to live mindfully in a world that's forgotten how to be present. Whatever your role may be, you don't need to be extraordinary. You just need to be true to your soul. A real-life example, Aiden's story. Aiden, a software engineer in Toronto, once lived by pure logic. He didn't believe in anything spiritual. But after a personal crisis, he began meditating. And one quiet night, something shifted. Kundalini rose, not with fireworks, not with fanfare, just a subtle sense that he was being called home. Today, Aiden is still a full-time engineer, but he also offers free community meditations on weekends, writes a healing blog, and creates safe spaces for people navigating their own awakenings. He didn't leave everything behind to chase spirituality. He simply wove his soul into his everyday life. And that is a mission. You don't need to know the entire cosmic plan to begin. You just need to answer what's calling you right now. Maybe it's listening to someone without judgment. Maybe it's sitting in stillness for 5 minutes a day. Maybe it's forgiving yourself for something long overdue. However small it seems, every act done in awareness is part of your mission. And eventually, you'll realize you no longer need to search for the light. You are the light you've been searching for. In the final part of this journey, we'll pause deeply to reflect on everything we've explored. And remember this, awakening is not a destination. It's the way you live, moment by moment, with eyes open and a soul fully alive. 10. The sacred serpent within. Final reflections and your next steps. There is a sacred serpent sleeping within you, not to threaten, not to control, but to remind you that the light has always lived inside of you. We've just walked a long, meaningful journey together. From the early signs of awakening, to the deeper meaning of Kundalini, to how to prepare, avoid common mistakes, and tune into your soul's true mission. And now you might be asking, what do I do next? Awakening is not a destination. You don't need to be fully awakened overnight. No one is asking you to become a spiritual master, a guru, or a perfect human being. The only thing Kundalini invites you to do is to live authentically, to slow down, to listen more deeply, to come closer to your truest self. It's in every mindful breath, every time you choose love over reaction, every moment you place your hand on your heart and ask, what feels true to my soul? That is your next step. A real story, Lynn's quiet journey, numb. Lynn, a single mother with no spiritual background, once woke up from a dream that left her whole body glowing from within. She didn't understand what it was, but instead of fearing it, she started meditating for just 5 minutes each morning, wrote letters to herself, and cared for her child with a calmer heart. 3 months later, she wasn't famous. She didn't become someone, but she was more peaceful, more radiant, a quiet source of inspiration to her friends and co-workers. Sometimes the light doesn't arrive as an explosion. It comes as a small candle, quietly burning in your chest every day. You don't need to climb the highest peak of enlightenment. You just need the courage to go deeper into yourself, one small step at a time. And in those footsteps you'll discover, Kundalini is not just a surge of energy, it's a sacred companion, walking beside you for life. So, if something inside you stirred while watching this, if you felt a door quietly open within, pause, close your eyes, place your hand over your heart, and whisper, I am ready to listen. Thank you for walking with me through this entire journey. If this video touched something inside you, share it with someone you love. Because maybe, that's how you awaken another soul that's waiting to be called. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss the next deep journey we take together. And if you feel called, leave a comment below. I always read and I always listen. We didn't come here to become the light. We are the light. We just forgot. Wishing you a gentle, soul-filled journey of awakening. And I'll see you again in the place where your soul is already smiling.